Good afternoon. Today we're out here at our ranch picking up some pine needles for our pine needle tea. Now typically you would want to pick the pine needles that are the freshest and newest for the tree. That would be at the very end. And they're very easy to pull. Just pull them off there. You'll see that they have a end there. We'll take those off later. But we go ahead and gather enough for at least 2 batches of tea. And since there's 2 of us in the household, that's quite a few needles. These trees that we have on our ranch, we're very fortunate because they are ancient trees that were actually the same trees that our Native Americans used as their food source during the winter months. This tree right here is a pinyon pine. Every 3rd year it produces nuts that are also very beneficial and high in protein. The needles are very high in vitamin C, which is preventative of scurvy, which is what the Spanish conquistadors fell prey to while they were here trying to conquer these lands.
Okay, we're back inside after picking our pine needles, and I have rinsed these in cold water. I just want to let you know that I don't usually rinse this many at one time, usually a serving at a time, and then clean them as needed. I do have a small kitchen scale. I go ahead and I put 0.2 ounces, and if you don't have a kitchen scale, you can always use the old-fashioned tablespoon. If you go ahead and put a good heaping amount into this big tablespoon, you'll have enough for a serving. That's 0.2 ounces. Now I'll go ahead, I usually use a cutting board. I'll put those in the cutting board. Now you have 2 options. You can go ahead and take off the brown sheath, but as you can see on this particular type of pine, there's not much of a sheath. So I leave mine on, but if you are using a different type of pine, you might elect to take that off. What I'm going to do with the knife is I'm going to chop them into small pieces. That will help release the oils that are contained in the pine needles so that my pine needle tea will have a larger flavor. And once I get all these chopped up, and I do chop them up pretty small, I go ahead and take the chopped up pieces and I use that spoon you just saw, and I take the back of it and I bruise the limbs, the needles, so that even more of those nutritious oils are released. Okay, once I believe I've got all that done, I go ahead and I do have a steeper at home. I will tell you that when you use this for pine needle tea, you will see a ring eventually from all the oils when you're actually steeping your tea. So if you don't like that, best clean it after each serving. Also on mine, you'll see that I've marked it twice. That's 1 serving. This is 2 servings. My husband and I tend to drink this in the morning and in the evening, so I'm always making a couple of servings at a time. Okay, after chopping up the needles and bruising with a spoon, you can kind of see how they look there. I'm going to go ahead and put them into my steeper. When I get every one of them in there, there we go. All right, now I have just an amount here for 1 serving, so I'm going to fill it up to my 1 serving line, and I just pre-measured that for 6 ounces. Okay. All right, as you can see, that's all I've done. I've got my needles in there. They're floating for the most part. I will let this steep for 15 minutes, and you'll know the tea is ready when most of those needles have fallen to the bottom. And as you can see, most of the needles have fallen to the bottom of the strainer. I'm going to go ahead and empty into my cup the contents of the strainer. And if you would like, you can drink it like this, or you can add a little sweetener, which I do, with just a little touch of honey. There we go. I think it has a good taste on its own, but for most, if you like your tea sweet, this will not be as sweet. It'll be more of a refreshing flavor, very much of the aroma, of course, of the forest. Very good. And of course, if you'll research online, you'll see that they have a lot of information on the benefits of the pine needle. One of those, of course, is the amount of vitamin C that it has. It has much more vitamin C than a lemon or an orange per dose. This twice a day, and I hope that I will seek some of the benefits that are indicated online. It's supposed to help with your immune system. Also, it's supposed to help with your vision. And of course, anytime you take vitamin C, helps with your skin and your complexion. If you're not fortunate enough to have 150 to 600-year-old pinyon trees in your own backyard, please go to our website at mountainpeaknuts.com and we will send you a tin full of these delicious pine needles. Thank you.